Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Fano here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you the solution to my CSGO Riddle for $1,000. I thought I'd take a stab at it, seeing that nobody has solved it yet, so it's interesting. You guys get to see how I thought about my thought process behind the riddle, so let's get right into it. Okay, so all three skins are essential. What does that mean? So M4, AK-47, AWP, Desert Eagle, we got, what else we got? We got the USPS. We also have some Glocks here that it could be anything else. Essential. This is essential for any loadout. So knives are also accepted, as well as gloves too. One is sharp, one is wet. So I guess that means, yeah, so one's sharp. I mean, anyone, a lot of you guys got it actually. So it means a knife. So one of the skins is going to be a knife. And then the other one is wet. So what could that mean? I guess it just means that the pattern or the design of the skin contains water. There's some element of water, but that's all we know so far. And then the third one, I believe, was that it will make you quite in debt. So one of the skins of the three skins is going to be really expensive. And I guess that means it's safe to assume that it will be more expensive than the knife. Okay, so this looks pretty good to me so far. Let's keep listening. Okay, so the skin in question, the last thing I was referring to when I said this part of the riddle was the really expensive skin that will make you quite in debt. So we're gonna say that that expensive skin, that item, is from a case that is going up in price. So I recorded this video a couple weeks ago. So the cases that were going up, you know, obviously the cheaper cases that had a lot of hype surrounding them. And then here I said luck dries up. So luck, what could luck mean? Luck dries up. Okay, so hype, luck drying up, case that's going up, luck, clutch. So it might be from the clutch case. So let's go under that assumption and let's continue listening. You have to be quite a skin fanatic, otherwise things will be problematic. I don't think that really means anything. But on this skin, I see a pod. So on this skin, I see a pod. So it could be any one of those three skins, the pod design. So I guess the first thing that you probably should do is like Google search what a pod is. So like, what's a pod? If you don't know, let's see what happens when we type it into Google. The noun, elongated seed vessel, plant. Okay, so that's, I mean, it could be that, but a detachable self-contained aircraft. Let's keep going. A narrow, blah, 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 blah. Verb. Okay, so the first definition probably doesn't match, but if you scroll down on the second meaning of the word, it means a small herd of school or marine animals, especially whales, a pod of 500 dolphins frolicking in the bay. That's the sentence that they provide us. So dolphins, marine animals, something with marine animals. What skin has marine animals? And if you do some digging and if you know your CSGO skins, you'll know that the AK-47 Aquamarine Revenge is that skin. So let's connect the two right here and say that one of the skins will be the Aquamarine Revenge. However, we don't know whether it's stat track or what condition it is, but let's just keep going on. If we keep going, one skin, its design is 3 a color. So what does that mean? So 3 colors on the entire skin. So what kind of skins have 3 colors? I guess you can make an argument for Asimov skins. You can make an argument for Fade skins. I mean, there are many skins out there. So many other skins would be another category, so it doesn't really narrow it down too much for us at this point. But next we learn a little bit about its price, in that it has a pretty stable price. It hasn't, you know, gone up and down and up and down. It's been steady, actually steadily going up, and it's not a bluff. So that's good information to just jot down and keep at the back of your head. And then at this point, we really don't know if this skin is that sharp knife. We don't know if it's that expensive item, skin, knife, glove, whatever it may be. We don't know where to connect these two statements or whatever. So, but actually we sort of do. So think about it. Let's go back to this third item that's really expensive. It will make you in debt. It's from a case. Hype, dries up, luck. Clutch, we decided that, yes, let's see if it's from the clutch case. So let's assume that it's from the clutch case. It's an item from the clutch case that is more expensive than a knife. What item from the clutch case is more expensive than a knife? Well, the rare special item of the clutch case, if you do a little bit of research, you'll see that it is a glove. So with that being said, let's open up our trusty CSGO site here that has a bunch of the clutch case gloves that we can just take a look at right now. And that expensive item is going to be one of these gloves. At least that's what we think so far. So if we assume that this really expensive item that will make you quite in debt has only 3 a color, then I guess you can make a case that the item is the Specialist Gloves Fade. It's currently going for $510 in the field tested conditions, so maybe that's what it is. And because that it's either going to be a knife or it's going to be a glove that is 3 a color, we can get rid of Asimov and we can get rid of many other types of patterns, and we can just say that this skin 3 a color is probably going to be a fade, either the gloves fade or a knife that is a fade. We really don't know which one it is, but we do know that it will make you quite in debt. And $500 can definitely make you quite in debt. However, we really don't have much information on the sharp knife, so we are going to assume that 3 a color is referring to the knife instead of the gloves, because the gloves, like I said, are quite expensive. They'll make you quite in debt, so it's probably going to be worth more than $500. I think that's a safe assumption, considering that the gloves are going to be more expensive than the knife, and we only have $1,000, so it makes sense for the gloves to be worth more than like 50% of the entire price of the inventory storage unit. So we are going to draw that connection. The sharp knife is probably 3 a color. It's probably a fade. Okay, so from part 1, we have an AK-47 Aquamarine Revenge. We have a knife that is probably a fade. And we have gloves that are from the clutch case. That being said, it could also be any knife in the world and fade gloves. So we're not 100% sure. Again, we are assuming, but it's one or the other. So these two scenarios are what we currently have from part 1. Now let's move on to part 2. All right, so the first part doesn't really have too much in particular, like too many specific hints toward the skins. It's just basically letting us know how to interpret the riddle. Don't overcomplicate things. However, it does say when I said quite in debt, it really does mean quite in debt. So now we know for sure the glove skin is definitely worth more than $500. But this next piece of information is kind of interesting. It says I'm creating this riddle from left to right in one sitting, and I guess that only further, validates that the skin with 3 a color is definitely going to be a fade. At this point, we know that it is left to right. They follow a sequential order when I'm talking about these nouns, these skins. So the knife is going to be a fade. All right, so glove skin greater than $500. Knife is a fade. Woohoo, we got it. We're getting warmer. But the knife skin shouldn't be too expensive. So now we know that the fade knife isn't going to be very expensive. It's not going to be like a karambit fade. Probably not going to be an M9 or bayonet or whatever fade, but it is a knife that is cheap, relatively cheap, and it's going up in price. And then here we're told that float values don't really matter. They're all really good skins where the float values don't necessarily mean anything, so that means that the knife is probably factory new or minimal wear. Not that that really helps us out in the fade, because they only come in 2 conditions, but it's safe to assume that, you know, it's probably going to be factory new, just because it's just the more common of the two. And then for the Aquamarine Revenge, it's probably not going to be factory new. Might not even be StatTrak factory new. Those are kind of expensive, but it'll probably be like minimal wear or field tested, well worn, stuff like that. And now we're told another piece of really interesting information. We're told that one skin is very clean, no scratches. So like minimal wear plus skins generally are very clean. And then we're also told that it's not for everyone. Who wouldn't want minimal wear plus gloves in CSGO? I mean, they're very clean, barely any scratches. So I don't think the two are related. I don't think this fact or this statement is referring to the gloves. It's probably talking about the knife fade. And out of all the patterns to choose from, I ended up with this one. Okay, so it's a pattern of the knife fade that is not desirable. People don't really like this pattern. The one thing that comes to mind is the fade pattern that has very little fade, or like a low fade. Alright, that's good information to know. But at least it matches another skin among the 3. Okay, so it matches a skin. Matches. The colors match. It looks good with another skin. A low fade. So it's either referring to the Aquamarine Revenge, or it's referring to this mysterious glove skin that's worth more than $500. One of them matches the low fade. So the low fade is yellow. A type of yellow, so does it really match the Aquamarine Revenge, which is blue and orange? Probably not. So we're gonna assume that the glove skin that's worth more than $500 matches the yellow, very little fade of this knife. Alright, what gloves from the clutch case are yellow? So we got the transport gloves, we also have the sport gloves Omega. If we take a look at the transport gloves and see what their prices are currently going for, the minimal wear is going for $295. That is not over $500. Factory new, there's no recent price, and I'm using all my skin prices from the Steam community market, of course, so it's safe to assume that I did not get this, the Moto Gloves Transport. So let's cross it out. It is probably the Omega sport gloves. Looks pretty good to me. They're yellow, they match the knife fade. And now all that's left is to put together the 3 CSGO skins as well as their conditions. Alright, so one skin is definitely AK-47 Aquamarine Revenge. We really don't know the condition, but it's safe to assume it's like minimal wear, field tested, well worn, one of those 3. The other skin is a blank knife fade, low fade, probably factory new. And then the third CSGO skin is the Omega Sports Gloves, which are probably going to be in the field tested condition, seeing that they are going for around $610. So let's record these numbers here. And now all that's left is to find what kind of knife this fade is. So currently, if you take a look at the prices of all the fades, there are only about like 8 knife types, 8 knives with the fade pattern that are currently going for under $500 in factory new condition. So let's narrow down this a little bit. Let's assume that the Aquamarine Revenge is either minimal wear or field tested. Let's go with minimal wear just for now. $44 for that. If we add up the prices, the knife that we are looking for should be around $340. And it should also be steadily going up in price, which means that it's probably going to be an older knife type. So let's just go ahead, take a look at all these knives, take a look at their graphs. The Falchion knife is an interesting possibility, but I don't think its price really matches. Doesn't add up to 1,000, it's a little cheap. If we take a look at the Shadow Daggers, also cheap. Take a look at the Bowie knife, that's actually an interesting one, $330. That actually might work perfectly. So you go ahead with Bowie knife factory new, Omega Sports Gloves field tested, Aquamarine Revenge minimal wear, you make that guess. Fano doesn't respond, okay, that's wrong. Then you go with field tested Aquamarine Revenge, factory new Bowie knife, all that good stuff. Fano still doesn't respond. You try different combinations with these 3 skins, and then you say, okay, maybe it's not a Bowie knife. Let's try a different knife. It can't be a gut knife. It could be a flip knife, although it's a little bit expensive. Let's try the Huntsman knife fade. It's currently going for around $292 at this moment. Let's see here. It is steadily going up in price. It actually is going up a lot. It was it was over $300 at one point. Wow, that's interesting. Maybe Fano bought it when it was over 300. So let's take a shot at the Huntsman knife. We give it a try with a couple combinations, and sure enough, we end up with an AK-47 Aquamarine Revenge field tested, a Huntsman knife fade factory new, and the Omega Sports Gloves field tested, all of them totaling to around $1,000. And sure enough, if all these 3 skins were listed in the comments, Fano responds to you, and you win the 3 skins. And here they are, boys. Aquamarine Revenge, field tested, Omega Sports Gloves, field tested, with a really cool float, 0.3000, and of course the Huntsman knife fade, low fade in the factory new condition. I hope you guys enjoyed the riddle series. If you guys want to see more giveaways and riddles and cool challenges in the future, hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome CSGO videos. So until next time, this is Fano, signing out.